Huh. LTT has a new Linux challenge video. I should check it out.
And of course, the very first one is one I haven't even heard of. Nobara Linux.
Alright, so he found an actual news article and it shows Nobara as their very first thing. So what if he hasn't heard about it? Maybe he'll use it.
Gotta fire up ChatGPT and see what OpenAI has to say on the subject. Bottom line, Pop! OS. I don't know if I'm sure about that.
Oh no. He's going with Pop again. What could possibly go wrong? Welcome to Vensire Studios. Let's get into it. Before really continuing on, I just want to go over that this isn't going to be some react video to the entire thing. This is me going to be just talking about the primary part where Linus was working inside trying to get Linux installed and him choosing with what he did. Now, I can definitely see it as he's going at it with the approach of, hey, I know nothing about the operating systems, I know nothing about Linux. Let's see what I can find online, and we can go from there, is the way to say it, I guess. So, yeah. Starting with the article that he was looking over. This is from XDA developers. 6 Linux distros that prove you don't need Windows for gaming. Which obviously if you're going to use it for gaming, yeah, you'd want to be able to look over here and see some choices. I released a video yesterday on why I chose to go with Nobara for 2026. The irony, of course, is they just started working on the Linux challenge, and I think that video came out just before I recorded mine, and I hadn't seen it until after I recorded mine or edited it up yet. But yeah, right here it has Nobara as the very first one, which states heavily customized for gaming. Linus states that he has never seen it before or heard of it, and reads through the generics on it. As it states here, built in Fedora, Nobara is one of the easier recommendations for gaming on Linux because of how much it gives you out of the box. It ships with codecs. This is asterisk, we'll get into it. Kernel patches and quality of life tweaks that most users end up installing manually anyway. Steam, Proton, Lutris, and your assortment of controllers all should work immediately. This is another asterisk. Without the hassle of enabling third-party repositories or hunting down missing dependencies. Comes with KDE. I'm not going to read through the rest of it, but it comes with KDE environment for the standard install. Windows users would definitely appreciate it because it looks a lot like, well, Windows. Or at least kind of like Windows 10 or of old. Alright, he skips it. Checks out Pop! OS. I think he read through the rest of it, like Fedora, OpenSUSE, Cache, and Endeavor, and Ubuntu, yada yada. And then he does, like he states, as modern kids would do, is they'd go to ChatGPT. Obviously, I'm a little older, so I don't care for ChatGPT still. I mean, I've checked it for maybe a couple things here and there, but not that often. Or if I'm looking for specific Linux commands or things, I use DuckDuckGo and whichever LLM they work with to get the generic answers for that, which usually helps with commands and whatnot, but then I also double research for other articles just in case before doing them. But he went to ChatGPT to ask about using Linux for gaming on multiple machines, and the big thing of it overall seemed to be Pop! OS. Those not into the Linux, no. Pop! OS is going through the pains of creating their own desktop environment. KDE is an example of a desktop environment. And Pop is now swapping things off of, I believe it was GNOME, right? Like it states here, the GNOME file system, terminal, text editor, media player, all getting swapped to their new Cosmic desktop that they are working with. This is in beta. And from what I have seen on their main website, you cannot download one with the original desktop, so you're stuck into this test environment from what they are doing. Now, they don't have it with the newer versions of Linux. Right now it's on 24.04, which this should be updated to 26.04 this year because that is the next LTS, and hopefully that'll be polished even harder. So this might even just be on the X11, what's called the Windows system for what displays, and they might be swapping it over to Wayland, which who knows, that might come up with a lot more issues there. But yeah, if you want to do, or if you want to be some kind of a guinea pig for seeing what you can break, which kudos to Linus, you're amazing at that, then yeah, this could be fun for you, but that's only if you really like to tinker. This has, as he stated, the NVIDIA drivers, which you can see right here. There's two separate versions. The standard is for AMD and Intel based drivers, and the second one is for the NVIDIA proprietary. Now, we're going to jump over here to the download section in Nobara. Now, they also have multiple different desktops, obviously not Cosmic. Those are official, which is KDE GNOME, a secondary KDE offshoot, a Steam version, which is more like just big picture mode, and a handheld version, which I might be swapping my mom's computer over to this one, her secondary one, because she only uses her computer to play Skyrim. So if I can get that to work nicely on there, great. I have one with Bazite, but I don't know, I don't like that computer. It's an Asus SI one that just has been funky from the get-go, so I don't think you know if it's Bazite or the computer itself. But here's the standard downloads, which is for AMD and Intel. And then they have the NVIDIA downloads for the versions as well, from mentioned above. Caveat here, sometimes if there's a big update that they have, the NVIDIA one is not available to download. Right now it currently is, but if it's not, you'll click it and it won't get you anywhere. You can still install it from the standard downloads. When you first load up into Nobara, it starts with this welcome app screen. This is where I get into the caveats with the gaming as well. First steps, install the media codecs. So these are the codecs that they cannot install on their own. These are copyrighted codecs and such. They're allowed to be installed afterwards, after you verify that you, yes, fully want these installed. If you cannot download the NVIDIA version, then you can go to the Drive Manager. All you have to do is click on the VGA compatible controllers, which is for the graphics card. If you have AMD and Intel, it'll show it in here. If you have NVIDIA, it'll also show it in here, and this should be yellow. All you have to do is click on it, select the graphics driver you want. This one up here for available profiles for the standard drivers are 580. The ones down here are the 590 ones. And on top of it, you can just get CUDA installed if you need that. And that'll install it, and all you need to do is do a restart and your drivers are fully installed. Alright, just going to shoehorn this in real quickly. I forgot to mention it in the initial recording. But in order to get at least the Xbox controller working properly with being wireless, is you do have to go in and do another step. So on the top right here, it says show all device profiles. Go down to where it shows the Linux kernel driver for Xbox One and Xbox Series X. And then just click on that, tell it to install, and reboot your system. Once that is done, you should be able to pair this properly in Bluetooth, and it should work without an issue. So, yep, there's also that. And with that out of the way, let's get back to the primary recording. I haven't had a single issue showing up like Linus has had from the Steam multi-screens showing up to his issues he had with gaming. I'm not saying that in general they don't exist. Obviously they do exist with what he showed, what he was capable of doing. Linus should be the absolute test subject for anything new coming out for Linux, because he will find a way to break it if it's a Linux distro or desktop environment. The Vulkan one for the command I have not seen in a long time. In fact, when he brought it up, I actually went ahead and installed Left 4 Dead 2 because I didn't. And as you can see here, I have no launch options in here at all. I'm gonna throw up some background footage just for you to see on it. The gameplay's fine, not a single issue, it just works. Now, might be Pop! OS has more issues on AMD graphics versus, ironically, NVIDIA. That could be one of the problems. Or it's again because it's a new environment and it has issues. In fact, I'll bring that back up right now for you to see. Let's go to the release notes here. Pop! OS 2404 LTS includes the new Cosmic desktop environment, designed and developed by System 76. Key components: Epoch kernels, Mesa drivers for open source AMD and Intel drivers, and the NVIDIA driver 580. But it states right here, some games may start partially off screen. Press F11 or Super F11 to full screen the game. Display toggle hotkeys and on-screen display is not supported yet, so obviously this is showing that there are some problems and so forth that they are working on and has to be fixed. Again, this desktop, the Cosmic desktop, is in beta, so it is what it is. Cosmic has a built-in screen tool. If you require annotations, we recommend Flameshot, so they don't have annotations built into that yet, which can be installed via FlatHub via Cosmic Store. Version 13.1 or higher is required for Cosmic. Cosmic is not currently optimized for touch devices. An on-screen keyboard is in development. Cosmic Desktop will be continuously updated by new features and improvements after release, yada yada. Of course it will be. While watching the video, it looks like, of course, Elijah and Luke have had a much better time with it. Elijah, have at it with Bazite. I have it on my mom's computer for Skyrim, except that just goes into big picture mode, and it seems to work decently well. I hope you don't have many issues with it, and if you're not doing certain things like I need to on mine, for instance, having all my fonts for Davinci Resolve that you need to place inside the main system folder for inside root section for that, then it should work out great for you, I think. And for Luke with CashioX, have fun with it. Not for me, primarily because they've got something really against flat packs, and I'd rather use flat packs with lesser non-elevated permissions for certain things versus elevated permissions that I want for other things inside here. But that's personal preference on my end. Everyone has their own. In the end, that's the whole greatest thing about Linux in general, is you're able to have all these different choices and you know, the flavors of desktops and distros and whatnot, and have at it and use what works for you. So I'd say that really concludes that video here. Like the video if you liked it. If you didn't, you know what to do. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. And if you liked what you saw here, hit that subscribe button, and I hope you come back for more. Bye!